Okay, welcome to my first YouTube video. This YouTube video is to show you how my real estate payoff calculator works. This spreadsheet is available on Etsy for $4.99. It's one of the spreadsheets that I created myself, and this is really to be utilized by if you're trying to assess whether a property purchase, how long it's going to take for that purchase to pay off. That's what we're going to use this spreadsheet for. So. This is meant to be a simple spreadsheet. I don't like to overcomplicate things. I just want this to be useful for you to see how quickly your investment is going to pay off using the cash flow from your rental as well as the equity increase that you're going to see in the property. So you're only going to make entries in the gray cells, so there's not a lot of data entry here, so it's good to estimate things prior to purchase or even at the beginning of your purchase when you're trying to just assess. I created this about a month after our last rental property search because I wanted to just have peace of mind to know when I was going to get my initial investment back, essentially, from a property. So I'm going to use the numbers that were actual numbers on our last purchase, just to give you a real visual and a real life example. So this property is a 3-2 located in the South Florida real estate market. It's a single family home. So our closing costs were somewhere around $28,000 just in closing. Our down payment was $51,000. Half of that, actually, the bulk of that actually came out of a cash out refi that we did on another rental property. So it wasn't necessarily cash out of our pocket, but I'm still going to include it in this initial acquisition category. This mortgage payments out of pocket is meant to be how many months of mortgage payments you're putting out before you're going to start collecting rent. So I know based on our timeline that I'm going to be paying out 1 month of mortgage payment prior to collecting rent. So I'm going to include that in my acquisition and construction costs. Our roof costs are going to be somewhere around $9,000. Our plumbing costs around $2,000. Miscellaneous material, just like shelving and, mirrors and just kind of miscellaneous things that we needed to purchase is around $2,000. Our windows are at $3,500. Our appliances are $2,000. We had to buy a washer dryer and a fridge for this property. Our landscaping, I'm estimating this to be around $1,000. I don't have final numbers on that yet. Our HVAC, we had to buy a new AC unit for this property, which was kind of unexpected. And then we put in $3,000 of stucco. So our total acquisition and construction costs are about $114,000 total. So when this property is rented out, I'm being conservative, but I think we're going to get about $2,600 a month here with a 3% annual increase. Our mortgage payment is around $2,200 a month, and we are going to pay for landscaping on this property. And if you wanted to add, if you were going to pay water or electric, you could add those categories here and add in those numbers in this area as well. And then the last input is really just equity. So this house appraised at $345 when we purchased. And in our area, a 5% increase is actually pretty conservative. So I'm going to use 5% annual equity increase as my numbers here. So you can see this bottom chart automatically inputted with my numbers. So the total cost of the property, and what I did here is I also added in 1% of cost year over year, so that based on this number, you're adding in, 1%. So maybe you had to replace a water heater, maybe you need to repave the driveway, but there's a little bit of wiggle room in this column here. Annual cash flow, this is based on numbers generated here. So the total annual cash flow is $4,000 right off the bat. And then that's going to increase as my rent increases year over year. The annual equity increase is based on this number here, the annual percent increase that I've given. And that also is going to increase year over year. So that's what C is calculated for. So D is our annual gains, which is just B and C added together. So cash flow plus equity increase. And column E is the compounding gains over time. So at the end of 20 years, I'm looking at, $680,000 of compound gains between equity and cash flow. And then, so this is the payoff calculator. So this is where you're subtracting the total cost of construction with the compounding gain. So you can see between year 4 and 5 is when I pay off essentially my investment in this property. The things that this doesn't take into consideration are how much your loan is getting paid down, because that's also an impact, and that's also actually going to make this go faster. And yeah, so this is just intended to be simple, just kind of a quick calculator to be able to use that. So I hope you found this helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks, guys.